fans starting to file into this huge outdoor arena here in Cheyenne, Wyoming. They're getting ready for rodeo. Hi folks, and welcome to Cheyenne, Wyoming, the 99th daddy of them all, the Cheyenne Frontier Days Rodeo. I'm Jerry Schimmel. My partner on the rodeo broadcast today is Abe Morris. And Abe, we'll talk about the rodeo cowboys in just a second, but let's touch on the weather right now. Beautiful right now, a little bit warm, but the weatherman says we might get some rain. How's it going to affect things?
Well, the weather's been here great all this whole week. Clouds seem like they might move in. If it does rain, the show must go on. The cowboys and the cowgirls are just going to have to deal with the conditions.
Let's talk about bull riding first, probably the premier event in rodeo. And I know that you're looking at a guy named Tough Heaterman today.
Yeah, Tough Heaterman, he's a three-time world champion, and he's got to have mixed emotions about coming here at this rodeo. The last year that Tough actually got to compete here at the Cheyenne Rodeo was the year that a friend of all of ours, Lane Frost, was killed. And so it's, he's got to have some mixed emotions. I know he's glad to be here at the rodeo, but, in the back of his mind, he does have to be thinking about Lane Frost.
He's got some stiff competition. The number one rodeo cowboy in terms of bull riding is Terry Don West. Talk about him.
Yeah, Terry Don West, right now, he's number one for the world, the title in the bull riding, and I look for those two guys to kind of battle it out the rest of the year. Right now, I'd have to say that Terry Don West is the hottest bull rider going right now, so it's going to be some good competition in that bull riding.
We'll see some great bareback competition. Mark Garrett's a rodeo cowboy you really like.
Yeah, Mark Garrett, his brother Marvin has been a three-time world champion, and Mark coming back, he's going to see if he can keep that title in the family. Marvin Garrett actually won this event here last year, so we want to see what his brother Mark can do. Maybe he can take home one of those Cheyenne buckles as well.
Seems like we talk about him every year, but Fred Whitfield, one of the premier calf ropers in all the world.
The cream does rise to the top. Fred Whitfield, he's also a world champion, and he's also been a twice Cheyenne Frontier Days champion here in the calf roping event. Last year, he won the title here as well, and Fred just seems to just come to this rodeo, puts forth his best effort, and you can never count him out. He's back in the finals again, and we look for good things from him as usual.
We're in Cheyenne, Wyoming, folks. It's one of the best rodeo events in all the country. Stay with us. The 99th annual Daddy of 'em All coming up next. Cheyenne Frontier Days Rodeo on Prime Sports is brought to you by Wyoming Division of Tourism. Wyoming, like no place on earth. The rodeo competition starts with bull riding after this. all set for rodeo here in Cheyenne Frontier Days, Cheyenne, Wyoming, on Prime Sports. And we'll start with the popular event of bull riding. Here's the scores on 2. Tough Hedeman, who we talked about just moments ago, is our leader, and Terry Don West in second place. So as we predicted, those two at the top right now. You see 1 through 8 right there, and 9 through 15. That's the score on 2 in bull riding. The scores will change as we proceed this afternoon. Let's get this, the first section here, and our first cowboy in bull riding, Chad Brennan.
Chad Brennan, he's the 1994 Resistol Bull Riding Rookie of the Year. This guy's only 20 years old. He's won over $38,000 last year. He's on 0-1 a Charlie Battles bull. Bull kind of having a day was going back and forth, not really making it, deciding which way he wants to go. Chad, a little bit of storm hanging into his hand, but hey, judges carry stopwatch, and we'll see if he got a score on that bull ride.
Looks like he's going to. Here's a replay. Let's take a look at it again.
Okay, you see that bull kind of going, he's deciding to go to the left or right. Chad, he's having a little bit of trouble there. Look, his feet are kind of flopping a little bit, hanging into his hand a little bit, but hey, he makes the whistle, and that's what counts. He's also one of my clients there with Marketing and Management Corporation of America. So.
Had to throw that in. And Chad Brennan, a good score, 76 for Chad Brennan, and he's happy about it. Looking above for thanks there, and a score of 76. Next up is Larry Sluggard, Roy, Montana.
I don't really know a lot about this guy here, but he wouldn't be in the finals if he didn't make 2 good rides in the previous 2 go rounds. He's on 30 at Rudy Bayless this afternoon. Okay, again, this bull just kind of going out there. He's not really having a good day like the guy would want to have a bull in this short go round. But hey, whistle blows and he's there. He's got to be happy.
Larry Sluggard. And we'll take a look at his ride one more time.
Okay, then, see again, this bull, I'm sure he's probably just not having one. They're like people, some days they have good days, other days they don't. This bull can't make up his mind if he wants to turn back, this big arena here at Cheyenne. He's just going to jump off straight away, but the whistle blows and the guy makes the qualified bull ride.
He does, Larry Sluggard, with the score of 67, maybe somewhat disappointed in that. Next up is Brian Barker.
This guy actually finished 64th in the world standings in 1994, won over $12,000. Again, we got another bull that can't really make up his mind. A lot of these bulls, they usually spin left or right, and he's just going to kind of just jump off away. But hey, another qualified ride, and that's what counts here at the Daddy of Mall.
It is a good ride for Brian Barker, and we'll take a look at it again.
And again, this bull jumping out here. He looks at this great big arena. He can't decide if he wants to spin to the left or the right. Kind of gets hung up there near the out gate. And just going to kind of jump and kick. But hey, he makes a good solid ride, and that's what counts. The bullfighters, Rick Chapman, Wayne Hargrove right there.
Brian Barker with a score of 67. Same score that we saw Larry Sluggard with. Next up is Clint Bronger.
This guy's currently in 3rd place for the world standing. He's qualified for the National Finals Rodeo on 7 different occasions. 1988, he won $50,000 at Calgary. He's one of the best bull riders going right now. I look for this guy to strap one of those gold buckles on his belt sometime during his career.
3 good rides here in this first section so far. Let's see if Clint Bronger can keep it going.
Yeah, his friends, we all call him Roscoe. He rides real good. That bull making a good, he turned back away from Clint's hand, then he jumps out of it. Decide, hey, I can't buck this guy off. Clint, like I said, one of the most underrated bull riders going, but he's definitely one of the best. He should be a world champion before his career is over with.
Bronger, a veteran, and a good ride for him. Heading toward the fence, get away from that angry bull, and here's another look at it.
Yeah, Clint Bronger, a couple years ago at the finals, it went down to the last ride. This guy bucked off in the 10th go-round, would have won a world championship, and he's back again. He's in good form. He's right now 3rd for the world title, making a good solid run. And that, that bull then just kind of taking off away, but hey, making a solid ride, and that's what counts.
Should be a pretty good score here for Clint Bronger. He waits for it, and a score of 74. It is a good score for Bronger. He's fairly content with that one. We move on, and Todd Owens to DeWitt, Arkansas, is our next bull rider.
This guy finished 43rd in 1994. The most won over $18,000. He's got a bull that's turning back. He's kind of getting in the wall just a little bit, but hey, he's back up again. Bull kind of parked it, hesitated there for a second. Whistle blows, and he gets off. That was number 40 of Rudy Bayless.
Todd Owens heading toward the fence. He got bucked off pretty hard there.
Making a good ride. That bull going away from his hand. Those bulls away from the hand. A little bit harder to ride. He's making the good moves, getting in there, and that bull kind of hesitated right there. That right there cost him a few extra points. The judges know what to look for.
Todd Owens will wait for his score, and it should be a good one. Yes, it is. A 78, a new leader. Todd Owens is very happy with the 78 on his ride. Nick Buckley is up next.
He's got number 5 of Harry Volts this afternoon. Nick Buckley is a great friend of mine. He's also one of my marketing and management corporation clients. That bull kind of just, not kicking a lot. It looks like Nick may have got stepped on there.
So Nick Buckley disappointed. He will not have a score.
He won over $1,800 in the first go-round, so he'll be happy.
Spud Whitman, Plains, Kansas, is up next.
Spud, he's one of the youngest competitors. Right now he's becoming a veteran. He's been around a little bit of storm that will kind of turn back. Looks like he may have slacked, and he knows he did. He reaches down and grabs his rack.
Yeah, but he will not get a score on that one. Spud Whitman disappointed. Another look at it.
Well, it does have a lot of action now. He turned back. I think Spud thought he was in trouble. Kind of dropped him in there, and he reached across. He touched that bull and got disqualified.
Read the disappointment on this Cowboys face. They express it pretty well. Chad Klein is up next.
Chad Klein's on V14 of Harry Volts this afternoon. This guy won $21,000 last year. Finished 36th in the world standings, and he won $700 in the second go-around. He pulled just a little bit when he was kicking. Got a little bit of action there, and Chad's making a great ride.
Great ride it is. He is happy with that one, obviously. Putting that up into the air and get a good score here. The score to beat is 78.
Anytime a guy comes in Cheyenne in the short go-around, makes a qualified ride, he knows he's going to get in there for some of those average money and some of those average points. So, hey, making a good, solid ride. That bull does have some action. Look at him, keep trying to work him to the outside. Hey, he steps off on his feet. He's a happy man. Hustles back to the chutes.
Brings up the question, do they ever get their hat back? They threw it like that.
Oh, yeah, but hey, after you win that kind of money, you don't even care. You go buy a brand new one.
And he's happy with that one. A score of 75 does not put him in first place, but a good ride there by Chad Klein. Here's our score after the first section in bull riding. Todd Owens with 78 is the man to beat right now. And Chad Brennan with the 76, and Chad Klein, and we just saw with the 75. Stay with us, folks. We've got steer wrestling coming up next from Cheyenne, Wyoming. One of the many events here at Cheyenne Frontier Days over this 10-day stretch is the pancake feed, and that comes up on a weekday morning, and they serve over 100,000 pancakes right now. That was a member of the Thunderbirds catching some pancakes. 99th annual Cheyenne Frontier Days. From Cheyenne, Wyoming, Jerry Schimmel and Abe Morris. Rodeo competition continues. Steer wrestling move to next. Here Here's the average on 2. And Lee Graves in first place, 19.2. Jimmy Ferguson right behind him. Great competition here. And you see 9 through 15 in steer wrestling. That's the score on 2 at this point. And let's get to the competition here. First up is Bart Pole. And it's the rain starting to come down now in Cheyenne.
As we said before, they're going to have to just go ahead and deal with these conditions. Here at Cheyenne, they get a 30-foot start. This, the steers and the calves get a head start at 30 feet before the cowboy can give chase, so you get some wild action here.
And Bart Pole disappointed. No time for Bart Pole, as you saw. And you see him drenched with some rain as well there. Vince Walker is up next.
Vince Walker, he's currently in 6th place for the world standings right now. Finished in 33rd place in 1994 and won over $20,000. So, hey, this guy is on a roll. He's been hot lately the last couple of months, and he wants to win a lot of money here at the Daddy and try to qualify for the National Finals Rodeo.
And looks like a time of 12.8 unofficially.
Okay, in the replay now, the guy reaches down. He's got that steer now. What he has to do is change directions, get that steer stopped. Now he must actually throw the steer, have all 4 legs facing in one direction, and then the flag man will drop the flag. The time becomes official.
Vince Walker, the time is 12.8. He's pretty happy with that one, I believe. Todd Soon from Laramie, Wyoming, just up the road, is up next.
Todd Soon, he's a University of Wyoming college cowboy. He just recently competed at the college finals in Bozeman, Montana. Guy's won a lot of money here already. He finished 4th in the second go-around and won over $2,900. Made a good solid run here this afternoon. Look, he's a happy guy. He's going to take some of that money back to college this, when the next semester starts. And noticing the replay now, he got the steer and he didn't waste any time on the ground. Throws him down, jumps up, excited. Hey, he's going to put a lot of money in those Wrangler jeans.
Yeah, jumps up and looks at the scoreboard with a time of 9.4 for Todd Soon. And up next is Tim Segelke from Snyder, Colorado, just down the road here from Cheyenne.
Another University of Wyoming cowboy. He qualified for the National Finals Rodeo in 1990. Has a pretty wife, Vicky, and I'm sure he'd like to take some of that money home so they can spend some of that money and go down the road to some more rodeos.
Bit of a stubborn steer there.
Tim Segelke, another University of Wyoming cowboy. He's done very well at the rodeo this week.
Time of 11.3 for Segelke. Chad Bedell, one of the veterans, Jensen, Utah.
This guy's qualified for the National Finals Rodeo in 1994. He's currently in 10th place in the world standings. He was a 1994 Wrangler World Rodeo Series winner. He's also a 2-time circuit champion from the Wilderness Circuit. The Wilderness Circuit, actually.
And a good effort there for Chad Bedell at 12.7 as a time. We'll take another look at his steer wrestling effort. No, we will not. Ivan Teagan up next, Camp Crooks, South Dakota.
Ivan Teagan, he's qualified on several different occasions for the National Finals Rodeo. He's a tough competitor in this event. He's won a lot of money in his career.
Having a bit of trouble with this steer and finally gets him down.
Steer wasn't very cooperative this afternoon, but Ivan, he's a tough guy. He's been to the finals several times, and he made the best of it. He had to go quite a ways to catch that steer.
14.7 was his time for Teagan. I know he's terribly happy with that. And let's look at the scoring standings after section 1 of steer wrestling. And Todd Soon, 9.4 with his time. Tim Segelke behind him, 11.3, and then Chad Bedell, 12.7. Again, this is actually after section number 1 of steer wrestling. Coming up next, Bareback. We'll have a lot of fun with this one. Stay with us.
Threw me off.
rodeo continues. The Cowboys getting ready for bareback bronc riding. That comes up in just a moment. The Cowboys are getting set for it. We'll have our first ride in just a second. First of all, we want to show you, though, some of the other rides with bareback competition here at this rodeo. 10-day affair here in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And these are some of the wild rides on bulls and bareback here in Cheyenne. At the Daddy Mall, the competition certainly doesn't lack for excitement. We turn now to bareback bronc riding competition. Here's the average on 2, and Mark Gomes, 153, is our leader right now, and you see 1 through 12. Again, this is the average on 2. Let's get to the competition. First up is Billy Lay from Shaw, Alberta in Canada.
Drawn a horse we call Black Cat this afternoon. He's been 2-time qualifier to the National Finals Rodeo, won over $47,000 in 1994. Making a good, solid ride. Now notice the action of the feet. The Cowboy trying to get all the points he can for our rodeo judges. Making a good, solid ride.
Billy Lay, as Abe said, good, solid ride is absolutely right. He should get a pretty good score out of this. Here's another look at it.
Okay, notice that mark-out rule. Now, the mark-out rule must have his feet and touching over the break of the horse's shoulders. That first jump out of the chute. Cowboy wants to spur forward, try to have his feet in the horse's neck every time the horse hits the ground. It's a timing event. You know, if you get out of time, you're going to take a jerking on your arm.
Billy Lay with a score of 76. Good, solid score, as we thought it would be. Billy Lay, I think, pretty happy with that as he walks off. And we move on. Here's James Boudreau.
Okay, James Boudreau, Cowboy, we don't know a lot about, but hey, he's in the short go-around here. Done very well to get here, so he's definitely done well this week. He's on a horse we call Skulls Baldy Socks. Making a good, solid ride. Cowboy just a little bit, you know, in timing. Reaches down with the free hand. He waits for the pickup man to move in to get him safely back on the ground again.
James Boudreau. And preliminary score is a 66.
Not going to be real happy with that score. Didn't quite have the horse didn't quite have the day that James would have liked for him to have, so that's why that score reflects in that.
And here's a man a lot of folks have been looking to see in this bareback competition, Mark Garrett.
Mark Garrett, he's on the horse Hiawatha this afternoon. He's 4-time qualifier to the National Finals Rodeo. He's the brother, Marvin Garrett. These guys have very fast feet. A good solid ride this afternoon.
A lot of brothers in rodeo competition. As Abe mentioned, Mark and Marvin Garrett. Another look at Mark's ride here, bareback.
Notice the replay. Talked about the feet of this guy. Real fast feet, going forward as far as he can. Jerks back to that bareback rigging. Solid right there. A timing guy in perfect timing. Gets a good score.
Very good score in 78 for Mark Garrett as he walks off, hat in hand. 78 puts him in the lead right now in this section. We move next, and we move on. Daryl Cholich.
Drawn the horse we call Skulls Frontier. The guy actually finished first in the first go-around, so he's already had a good week here at Frontier Days. Won over $4,100 in the first go-around. Also 19th in the world standings in 1994, won over $36,000 last year. Didn't wait for the pickup man, just stepped off safely on the ground. That's what counts. Notice the replay now. The markout room. Notice his feet. Actually the position of his spurs. He's reaching as far forward as he can. That actually helps the guy out. It keeps him close to that bareback rig, by pulling on your feet. And that keeps it the timing event, as I said before. Horse kind of gets caught just a little bit there in that sense.
Score of 74, respectable score there. And here's Scott Lund.
On the horse we call Skulls Rojo this afternoon. Guy tied for 5th place in the second go-round. He's won $700, so he's had a good week despite, coming to the short go-round. Making a wild ride. Look at that. Now that's spurring action. We really enjoy that. Things get wild and western. That whistle blows. It's a welcome-made second whistle. He can't wait for that pickup man to get here to get him safely on the ground.
Scott Lund is safely on the ground, and here's a look at his ride again.
Okay, notice again the spurring position of those feet, the first jump, timing motion. The guy's in timing, making a good solid ride. Our rodeo judges know what to look for, and they will score the guy accordingly. It's kind of like poetry in motion when you get tapped off on any of these animals.
Scott Lund with a good solid ride right there. Wait for his scores. He comes off at 75. Scott Lund.
He's got a big smile on his face, so he knows he's done well.
Scott Lund is a happy cowboy, and so is Mark Garrett. He's our leader, 78 points after Section 1. We had a chance to catch up to Mark Garrett. We talked about his home state, Wyoming.
Well, I was raised for most of my life in Wyoming, and Wyoming's basically my home, and it always will be. It's something that I just like the people in it, and I like the state, and it feels good to be. I feel at home when I'm in Wyoming, and it feels good to be doing good.
Stay with us, folks. Got more competition, more action from Cheyenne Frontier Days, the Daddy of Mall. Stay with us. One of the many activities that go on here at Cheyenne Frontier Days. This is the dancing from the Indian Village, just adjacent to the rodeo arena here at Cheyenne Frontier Days. Wonderful experience. If you get up there, please take the Indian Village in. It's amazing. We move next now to saddle bronc riding here in Cheyenne Frontier Days. And let's take a look at the standings. The average on 2, and you see Tom Reeves in first place, 152 points. Robert Etbauer is in a tie for second place at this point. He's got 2 brothers. They're all great rodeo cowboys, and one of them is Billy Etbauer, currently in 10th place. We had a chance to get to know Billy Etbauer just a little bit better.
Billy Etbauer, originally South Dakota, Edmond, Oklahoma now. I'm 32 years old. We grew up on horses. You know, I mean, when we was in diapers, Dad had us riding horses, and I imagine just growing up on the ranch is probably a lot of it, and we've been on a lot of horses. We love it to death, and we couldn't think of a better way to spend our lives than doing what you love like we are, and all the people and all the friends and all the fans you meet and stuff. It's just a great way to go if you can make a living at it. I'd have to say I'd have never thought I'd have been able to do what I'm doing today, you know, so I think guys just got to keep trying and reach as high as you can.
Billy Etbauer there, the 1992 world champion. We move on to competition here at the Cheyenne Frontier Days, and Jess Martin is up first in saddle bronc riding.
He's on Bobby Joe Skull, Harry Vold string. This horse is a world champion saddle bronc horse. Guys like to draw this horse in the rodeo. You ride this horse and score. You know, the judges are usually going to score you, usually in the 80-point range.
Jess Martin, they'll look at his ride.
Okay, again, that all-important mark-out rule. The guy's scoring forward, spurring forward and after, trying to get all the points he can. Bobby Joe Skull, one of the ones the guys like to draw. Jess making a classic ride here.
Jess Martin walking off with a score of 77, so he doesn't get that 80 range, but he does have a respectable score of 77. And Van Seiler is up next.
He's on the horse that we call Joe Finn.
He has a lot of drop in the front end.
Bobby wants to make sure the horse is standing properly, gives that nod again, that mark-out rule. He's in timing now, just a little bit out. Look, he's just a little bit off tilt right there, but now he's back in timing again. Make a good solid ride. The pickup men are going to move in to get him back on the ground.
Van Seiler with a score of 70. He has ridden better, obviously, and not terribly happy with his ride. Score of 70. We'll stay with Van Seiler for right now. Skeeter Thurston from Hyannis, Nebraska is up next riding mini skirts.
Currently, he's 10th place in the world standings. Skeeter has qualified for the National Finals Rodeo on 5 separate occasions. He's actually won over about $460,000 in his rodeo career. Also, he's a PRCA contestant representative and another University of Wyoming graduate.
Skeeter Thurston with his ride, sort of a hometown favorite, as they mentioned, from Wyoming. He'll jump off, and we'll look at his replay on his ride.
Horse covering a little bit of ground that's kind of hard to get in timing with, but Skeeter's picked up the timing there. Notice this, the horse is actually going away from us, but he's in timing again. Classic shot right there.
Score to beat is 77, and Skeeter Thurston is 74. Here's J.L. Schaffner.
He's on a horse, Powder Moon, the Burns Rodeo Company this afternoon. Cowboy gives a nod. He's already had his measure, his rein pre-measured. Some of these horses buck with their heads up higher than others. The guy wants to make sure he takes advantage of that. He's got a long range, so that means this horse usually bucks with his head down.
Powder Moon is the horse that Schaffner's riding today.
Okay, notice that mark-out rule. Now, that's all important. A guy can actually make a solid ride here and not qualify if he misses that mark-out rule.
And a score of 70 for J.L. Schaffner. And here's Billy Etbauer. We just talked about him.
Billy Etbauer, he's the 1992 world champion. The guy won over $184,000 that year. Not going to be there.
Bucked off is Billy Etbauer.
Got to be disappointed because currently he's sitting in 15th place right now for the world standings. Needs to stay there or higher to go to the National Finals Rodeo. Got out of timing on that horse. That's what cost him. The guy actually, he's had a great career. He won over $101,000 at the 1992 NFR.
He'll never let us interview him again. We jinxed him there, I think. A real disappointment for Billy Etbauer. Brett Franks is next.
Brett Franks, he's drawing the bull True, drawing the horse, True Spirit. Again, that all-important mark-out rule. Now he's picked up the timing on this horse, trying to get all the points he can. There's that whistle. He's going to sit around. He's going to wait for those pickup men now to get him safely back to the terra firma.
Brett Franks, another look at his ride.
Of course, it's just a little bit hard to track coming out of there just to start off with, but Brett picked up the timing real well. Now he's got a good solid seat there. When you ride these horses, sometimes it's just kind of like sitting in a rocking chair once you get that timing down.
Brett Franks picking up a 68 on his score. I don't know that he's terribly happy with that. 68 for Brett Franks, riding True Spirit this afternoon. And the results after Section 1, Jess Martin with that 77. Nobody in the 80s here in this section. And Skeeter Thurston in second with 74.
Not quite the scores we'd like to see in a rodeo of this magnitude. You have to blame maybe some of it might be the weather conditions. But then again, animals are just like people. Some days they have good days and some days they have bad days.
There's a lot of entertainment at Cheyenne Frontier Days, and one of those aspects of entertainment are the Thunderbirds. Let's take a ride.
Ready to stand on your tail? Yeah. Here we go. Sit back and relax. Departure at Thunderbird 7th, passing 9,000.
Only taking.
Absolutely beautiful artwork here, part of the art show at Cheyenne Frontier Days, and all from the Old West Museum right here on the Cheyenne Frontier Days grounds. Back to rodeo action, we go to calf roping. We look at the scores, the average on 2, with David Dolan, 23.5, our leader. He's the man to shoot at right now. Sean Franklin, 25.2. And you see the rest of the competition after that. Again, this is the average on 2 in calf roping. Let's get to the competition. Chance Henderson is up first in calf roping.
Guy actually from the United States Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, Colorado. So he's a college cowboy. Came here to the daddy. Hope he does well. He's in the short go-round. Guys spend quite a bit of time in the practice arena before they actually come to any rodeo. The rodeo of magnitude like that Cheyenne Frontier Days rodeo. Want to make sure that calf is looking straight ahead. Wants to make sure he gives him that 30-foot head start, because if he does, he'll break a barrier. That gets a 10-second penalty. Get a 10-second penalty in a rodeo, more than likely you're not going to win any money. Cowboy steps off on the right-hand side. That's kind of the new way of roping calves. And these guys are usually fast on the ground. Look at those fast hands.
Military guy, Chance Henderson from the Air Force Academy. And a time of 15.6.
Guy must also wait for a 6-second time period to make sure that calf is tied good and hard.
Jay Billingsley from Montana is up next in calf roping.
Backs into that box now. Wants to make sure that horse is standing straight. Gives that nod. The gate slowly opens. Now that's a long waiting period now for the cowboy. He has to hold in there, make that horse stay in that box a little bit longer at this rodeo than, different from other rodeos. Pitches that slack in the air, hustles down the rope, picks up the calf. Now he has to flank the calf. Then he has the option of tying any 3 legs, 2, 3 wraps, a half hitch. He throws his hands in the air. Timer drops his flag.
Jay Billingsley, nice round of applause from the folks here. And let's take a look at his calf roping effort again.
Okay, now as I said before, he has the option of tying any 3 legs. Sometimes the guys will actually tie 2 legs. They're taking a risk when they do that. They realize that they're taking that risk. If they do that, sometimes they'll hustle back to that horse to make sure that 6-second time period gets by.
15.6 is his time, same as Chance Henderson before him. Charlie Russell is up next.
Charlie Russell won over $1,800 in the first go-around. Already had a good week here. Wants to put a little bit more money in those Wrangler jeans. Looks like that calf has got that 30-foot head start. There goes the long chase. Riding a very pretty horse this afternoon. Look how fast he gets off the horse and hustles down that rope. Kind of bobbled just a little bit. Now that costs him a little time right there. Very, very fast on the ground as well.
And the crowd sees that, realizes it, appreciates it as well. A nice round of applause. Charlie Russell, another look.
Hustles down the rope. Now these guys, this calf roping event has become more and more competitive in the last years. Guys like Roy Cooper, they've just basically set the world on fire in this roping. Roy Cooper, Joe Beaver, those guys, tough competitors.
14.5 for Charlie Russell, puts him in first place in this section at this point. Blair Burke is riding next in calf roping. There he is.
He's the son of Barry Burke. He's actually the 1993 Rookie of the Year in the calf roping, currently 9th in the world standings. Kind of a sentimental favorite here. I'd like to see this guy do very well. The last 2 years in a row, this guy has finished in 16th place, did not quite qualify for the National Finals Rodeo. Kind of a heartbreak kid. He's done that the last 2 years in a row, so I'd like to see him do real well here, hopefully qualify for his first National Finals Rodeo. He's got a good solid run going so far. As I said, right now he's currently in 9th place. Now if he does here well at the Daddy, that will ensure him a shot to go into the Finals Rodeo. He knows he's fast on the ground. He's hustling back to that horse.
Yeah, the crowd knows it as well. This should be a real good time for Blair Burke. Another look.
Even in slow motion sometimes it amazes me just how fast these guys are on the ground. Just watch his hands, even in slow motion. He kind of bobbled just right there, but look, he took 2 wraps now. See, that's why he ran back to his horse. Took that risk and knows that the calf has to stay tied down for 6 seconds.
Reason to be happy. 13.2 for Blair Burke. Sean Hollenbeck is up next.
Guy actually finished 49th last year in the world standings, won over $15,000. Some of these guys, some of their earnings might not be quite as high as other guys. Some of the guys choose to stay close to their home because they have other careers. But that's where that Dodge National Circuit Finals comes in. These guys can get a lot of credit for competing in their own circuits and doing well.
Sean Hollenbeck hustled back to his horse. Looks like a pretty good ride for him. Should have a good time.
Again, watch in slow motion, hustles down that rope. See, back in the old days, guys were getting off on the left-hand side and had to actually step underneath that rope when they came down. These days, the guys are jumping off on the right side. You know, it's a quicker step to the calf. Don't have to duck under the rope, faster times.
Sean Hollenbeck, 14.4, with a smile coming off on his horse. And the last rider in calf roping in this section is Doug Clark.
Doug Clark, his brother's now Derek Clark. Derek Clark is a guy that, you know, he's several times he's qualified for the National Farmers Rodeo and the saddle bronc riding event. Doug Clark is a very versatile cowboy. He's all-around cowboy. He also competes in the team roping event as well. So he's a tough all-around team time event cowboy.
Doug Clark, get back to his horse.
Even looks like his brother Derek. Again, hustling down that rope. Has the calf now, he flanks him, he's reaching. See these guys now, they're actually reaching for that front leg as they're actually on their way to the ground. That also, you know, helps out their times.
Doug Clark with a time of 14.6, puts him about in the middle of the pack here in this section.
He's a happy cowboy. A little bit disappointed though, he's kind of throwing his head in there. It seems like it wasn't quite the fastest he wanted to be there.
And here's the standings after this section 1, and Blair Burke, hometown hero, with 13.2 is our leader right now. Sean Hollenbeck in second place, 14.4. See the rest of the field after that. And coming up, we've got some classical rides here from Cheyenne. We're back in Cheyenne, Wyoming, Cheyenne Frontier Days, 99th annual Cheyenne Frontier Days. They call it the Daddy of them all. Throughout these rodeo events, we have seen some classical rides. These classical rides brought to you by the Wyoming Division of Tourism. Wyoming, like no place on earth.
221, Mark Jarrett is the man
every year at the Daddy of Mall we see classical rides. This year is no exception. We moved on in rodeo competition to bareback bronc riding, and Mark Gare with 78 points is our leader after section number 1. Billy Lay right behind him with 76 points. And we get going with bareback riding, and Rick Bradley up first.
Rick Bradley won 3rd place in the second go-around, won over $2,300. Cowboy used to be in California, now he makes his home right here, well, just south of us in Colorado.
Rick Bradley with a good ride there. We'll take another look at it, riding Silver Wings today.
Again, that all-important mark-out rule. He's picking up the timing on the horse. Spent a little time with this guy in the Orthopedic Center of the Rockies in therapy last year, and he went on to keep going with his rodeo career. I ended up retiring.
Rick Bradley walking off with a score of 69 in this ride here in the bareback. Chuck Kite is next up, our next cowboy. He's riding a Laplander.
Chuck Kite's the top bareback and also a saddle bronc rider. He's finished in the top 50 in both events in the world standings last year.
Like a good ride there for Chuck Kite. We'll take another look at it. He's on top of Laplander this afternoon.
Okay, again, notice the spurring in the event now. The Cowboys tapped off his, rodeo lingo as far as getting in time with the saddle with the bareback horse. Horse covering a lot of ground, but Chuck handled it very well.
Comes up with a score of 75. Chuck Knight, after 2 riders in first place with that 75. John Brockway rides Foxhole next.
This guy's been around for quite a while. He's done very well in the whole United States. He also has been a couple times a Mesquite champion. Look at the spurring style of John Brockway. Real fast feet, kind of a longer-legged cowboy, but hey, he did the best of it today.
John Brockway, we'll take a look at his ride again.
Actually finished 23rd in the world standings in 1994, won over $24,000. Already had a good week here. He's won $1,600 in the first go-round. He's on a paint horse this afternoon. Good spurring motion. He just falls back and throws caution to the wind.
71, the score for John Brockway. He has ridden better in the past, obviously. Larry Sandvik is up next, riding Ragin' Cajun.
Larry Sandvik spent most of the 1994 season on the sidelines. This guy is a wild and crazy guy. Also does some leather work in the off time. He rides just like his lifestyle, wild and crazy.
You got to be a little wild and crazy to do this at all, don't you?
Yes, he does, and he definitely is the epitome of that. He's won over $230,000 in his career. And what he actually did there is he held his feet for 2 jumps just to make sure that he had those feet over the break of the horse's shoulders. Didn't want to mess him out, especially here in Cheyenne. The short go-around, there's a lot of money up for grabs, and they don't want to take any risk.
Wild one, Larry Sandvik with a score of 71.
Check out that haircut, Michael Jordan style.
For some reason, looks better than Michael Jordan. Sean Van up next.
Sean Van, he's a top college cowboy, guy looking for his first time to go to the National Finals Rodeo. He's done very well in college rodeo, and he's also looking for that first berth to the NFR where that pot of gold is at the end of the rainbow.
Riding Firewax, Sean Van, another look at it.
Picked up the timing on this horse. As I said, he's had a great career so far. Cowboy's a younger guy. He used to actually live in Canada. He's making his home now in Montana. Whistle blows, he reached down with that free hand.
The score to beat is 75 and a 72 there for Sean Vance. Mark Gomes Jr. from Hutchinson, Kansas is our next cowboy.
This guy rides very well. He's drawn a good horse here, Gaddafi Skull. He's been a champion bareback horse. This guy was the Rookie of the Year in 1994. He's already won over $4,800 in both go-rounds. Look at the ride now. This guy is definitely throwing caution to the wind. And, wow, hate to see that. His hand popped out of that bareback rigging. He's unconscious right there on the arena floor. We hope he's going to be okay because this guy definitely has a bright future in the sport of rodeo.
Mark Gomes is not getting up, not even moving. As Abe said, he's probably unconscious at this point, and you see the attendees running out in the middle of the arena to tend to Mark Gomes.
This guy last year, going into the Cow Palace, which was the last rodeo of the season to qualify for the finals, guy did well. He won the Cow Palace, and that qualified for his first National Finals rodeo. This horse, Gaddafi Skull, the guys like to draw this horse. They've been as high as 80s and 90s on this horse. And look at Mark, he's just throwing caution to the wind. Man, I hate to see that happen. I'd sure like to see him complete that ride. He definitely would have been in the 80-point range.
He is getting up and on his feet, and you hear the cheer from the crowd. It looks like Mark Gomes is okay. Not get a score here. He'll make the 8 seconds, but it looks like, more importantly, he is okay at this point.
Kind of give you an idea, he actually had already won over $4,800. I'm sure he would have probably won the second, the finals here. He could have won, he could have put another, probably about $10,000 in his pocket if he'd have been qualified on that ride there alone.
Saw the great camaraderie in rodeo. That was Larry Sandvik out there making sure Mark Ohms is okay. Mark Garrett is our leader. After the short goal result, 78, he wins $2,000 as a result, and you see the rest of the scores in bareback bronc competition. Chuck Kite in a tie with Sean Vant for the top spot. He talked about being on top at this point.
It's just, it's a great feeling. It's still can't hardly believe it. It's like a dream. You know, you come here, you ride against the best in the world as far as cowboys. You got some of the best livestock in the world, and I'm just lucky to draw some good horses and stay strong and be in the hunt with everybody.
More rodeo competition coming up here from Cheyenne Frontier Days. Beautiful day. The rain has stopped right now. Stay with us. More great competition